Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse, and in today's segment we have three of our fun prepping folks here together. We're all here together for the Suburban Preppers Conference in Columbia, South Carolina, put on by Solar Chef One. And so we were sitting around, we were talking, and we wanted to put out a video for you guys, sort of an introduction to prepping. The beans, bullets, and band-aids perspective is a perspective that's been floated by a lot of people that get into prepping, but there's a little bit more to it than just storing up a bunch of crap. So we wanted to give you our perspective on the different aspects of the beans, bullets, and band-aids, and one that's not mentioned, the beverage, the fourth B, because beverages are part of the equation too. So I have Southern Prepper One here with me. I'm Paul Gomez of Gomez Training International, and I'm Patriot Nurse. So we'll dissect this for you guys here. So Southern Prepper One, can you speak a little bit about the beans portion of the 4B equation?
Beans. As a new prepper, you're probably watching YouTube channels, and you're going to see huge pantries of preppers that have put tons and tons of time and effort into their preps. And you could say, man, I cannot do that. I can't have a big pantry full of food. But what you're going to do is take it one step at a time. Go ahead and buy an extra can or two every time you go shopping. And that's basically your budget. If you have extra money in the budget, use that. Use it wisely. Food is one aspect that you're going to need to do. So buy a little bit every week and just keep adding to it. Be smart about it. Buy the things that you eat, but also buy the things that are on sale. So look for that sale, especially buy one, get one free. If you normally buy it, that's just a free product to put in your pantry. It won't affect your bottom line because it's buy one, get one free. And only buy what you eat. I made the mistake when I was first starting out of buying things that our family didn't eat, and I can tell you that those products were wasted.
Yeah.
My wife didn't use them, and they went into the trash. So only buy what you normally eat.
Yeah, I think another aspect of that too is if we do get into a situation where we really have to go through our food supply, having already been acclimated to eating the food that you store and storing the food that you eat will make that transition, I think, probably a lot easier from a site standpoint for sure. And of course, you're not wasting food as much, right?
Especially if you have kids. Kids are used to certain items. If you automatically took those items away and just gave them pinto beans and oatmeal, you're going to have a revolt in your house.
Yeah. I think you'd have a riot from inside, even if it was outside with turmoil and violence. Your kids would probably kill you first.
So make sure you have the stuff they like to eat and they normally eat.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and the second portion is the bullets perspective, and we have Paul Gomez of Gomez Training International here to kind of give us a little bit of guidance. It seems like one of the things that I've heard, or one of the common myths I think that floats around in the prepper world, is just store a whole bunch of ammo and a whole bunch of guns, and magically when the time arises you will know via osmosis from the Winchester White Box how to use your stuff. So how would you say to people, what's the best way to start out? I mean, where is our priority? Is our priority in storing a bunch of stuff, or where do we start?
Well, I think the thing we have to look at is amassing a bunch of gear doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you don't know how to use it, if you can't use it. I'd say for most people you're better off buying a few firearms, buying a pistol that you can afford, that you can keep with you, buying a shotgun or a rifle, and learning how to use them. This idea of buying a ton of guns and a ton of ammo has been part of the prepper movement since for a long time, long before it was called prepping. I still remember back in survival guns, Mel Tappan, back in the day, where each survival arsenal each person had to be equipped with 15 to 20 guns, different guns for every possible situation. Well, that's nonsense. Buy good gear and learn how to use it. And a lot of people, they don't like doing that because learning how to use it, taking training classes costs money. I can buy 2 pistols for the cost of a pistol and a training class. Well, you're fooling yourself if you think simply buying gear is going to solve your problem. And that applies to your food stores, it applies to medical, it applies to everything. Amassing crap doesn't help you. You need to know how to use everything you're putting together and everything you're planning for. I remember during Katrina, everybody got MREs. The government passed them out like hotcakes. Somebody who's never eaten MREs before, your body takes them adjusted to. They don't taste like real food. And there was a joke back in the old days in Ethiopia. There was the MREs, meals rejected by Ethiopians. 3 lives for the price of 1. If your body is not used to eating the irradiated foods in MREs, your body's not going to do real well with it right off the bat. So you need to discover these things and learn these things and learn how to use all the stuff you're amassing before you put yourself in a worse position.
I think that's a perfect segue into the Band-Aids. The biggest part of medical prep that I think a lot of people really miss is that much of your medical prep, realistically, is nutritional prep. Because if you don't have the foods that are going to feed your body, you're going to get sick more easily. You are not going to heal as quickly from a wound if you're not being fed well and not being nourished. So making sure when you store your food to store good, high-quality food that is nutrient-dense, that's going to help you thrive more in times where your body is physically compromised. From a Band-Aid standpoint, we all love to store gear. We love to have lots of bandages and gauze and sutures, lots of things amassed, and quick clot by the ton. But realistically, the glitzy things are not what kills most people worldwide. The gunshot wounds, yes, they suck, but what kills most people worldwide is respiratory infections. So keeping that in mind, having a realistic check on your medical supplies and what really is most likely for you is probably going to be the regular things on steroids, so to speak. You know, if it's the seasonal cold that you're used to seeing in your family, well, try that when everybody has a cold and when everybody is eating food that is not really helping them other than giving them calories, isn't giving them any nutrients. I would also store things like vitamins, things to help supplement those nutrient losses. If you are in a long-term survival situation, you're going to need to make sure that you're feeding your body what it needs in order to surmount the medical challenges that it faces. So the last one here, the fourth B is beverages, and Southern Prepper 1 and I were discussing this. Water is something that doesn't get talked about enough with people, but the reality is you can survive without food for quite a long time, relatively, compared to what you can survive at the time that you can survive without having water. So can you speak to that, Southern Prepper 1?
Water is probably the most important thing you need to have a plan for. Because if your faucet gets turned off, you need to know, where am I going to get the water? Can I store the water? If I can't store the water, do I have a source, be it a stream, a creek, and how can I purify it? Now, we all can boil the water, but boiling takes a lot of energy, it takes effort. You got to get the firewood, you got to get a source to burn. So there's a lot of work involved. So have a plan. Make sure your plan is going to work. I talk to people that say, oh, no problem, I got a plan, I have a lake 2 miles away. That's not a plan. I mean, if you were going to walk 2 miles, get your 5 gallons of water, carry it back, you're going to consume a ton of calories, and it's not a long-term plan. So have a plan. Rain catchment is an excellent way to get water. You can use it for a lot of purposes. Go ahead and filter it, and then you have a lot of water for all the other needs you're going to use. So water is the most critical element in the prepping community.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us today. We wanted to put some information out there for everybody, and we thank you for sharing your time with us. So for now, this is Patriot Nurse, Southern Prepper, and Paul Gomez of Gomez Training International, and we thank you guys very much.